Okay.
Good morning. David, I wanted to address your concern about those two patio doors out in front. You're right. Of those 7 patio doors, 2 of them do have some rotten sill plate underneath them. So 2 of the 7 would have to be popped out to replace that sill plate and repair that and then put the doors back in. It's hard to say if there's any more damage underneath there until you actually remove the door, but you're right that 2 of those are going to need to be pulled out. In regards to the upstairs, I think that's a big picture question that you really need to have a contractor look at, because there's a lot of different aspects of that situation that might require a little bit more remodeling than you might think. So having a contractor come out and look at it would be a good idea. The floor of that 5-foot wide hallway is not very well supported. So if that's going to be true living space, you're going to want to address reinforcing that as well, and that might come into raising the roof. I'm not sure what all that would be. But looking at the rest of the outside, it's in excellent shape. It's been well maintained, well painted. There is some issue with wind damage to the roof. The southwest corner of the closest corner to the lake, that flat roof area, is peeled back from a high wind grabbing the roof and just rolling it back like a rug. So that needs to be addressed. It could be that the shingles are cracked and need to be replaced. So that would need to be addressed right away. The decking of the stairs going up to that upper level, that outside porch, the decking, although it's well painted, the actual boards of the decking are starting to rot at the ends. They're getting soft and punky at the ends, so it's probably time to replace the stair treads and the decking of that porch up there as it starts to show signs of rot. Inside the house, it's really excellent. Everything works. I run everything while I'm here. I run all the plumbing all at the same time, the washer, the dryer, the dishwasher, all the appliances have been cycled. Everything works correctly. There's some minor things like missing smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, which aren't a big deal. 2 of the windows over in the porch area around the corner from the air conditioner, there's 3 windows in a row. 2 of those windows are all cloudy looking. They look dirty. It's actually the seal of the thermopane that's let go, so when that happens, the window sucks in dust and moisture, and it's all cloudy looking. So to clear that, to get a good view of the lake, you'd replace 2 panes of glass. The air conditioners upstairs don't really want to work. They did turn on when I turned them on, but the motors are running super slow. They didn't come up to speed, and it could be that they're just old and need to be cleaned and lubricated or replaced, whatever the case may be. They tried to work, but not very well. The one downstairs on the main level works fine. The heating is all working properly. I got down into the crawl space. Everything looks good down there, although I would suggest adding some insulation to the heat pipes for the hot water radiant heating, just to make sure that the system works efficiently as it should. The heater in the garage works properly. There's a tree on the north side outside the master bedroom that's almost touching the soffit of the roof, so that's going to need to be trimmed back or removed pretty quickly. Also, the service drop that goes across the street to the power pole, there's an oak tree out in the corner of the yard that there's a huge branch that's leaning almost onto that service drop. So a major branch there is going to need to be removed so that it doesn't fall down and take your service out.
And that may be something that Excel will do, or the electric provider.
It may be, although my son just bought a home and I suggested he calls electric provider, and they said, no, we don't do that. Oh. So it may vary from one company to another. I
Sure.
always assumed that they would, because it's in their best interest, but the company that he had said they're responsible only to the pole, and he's responsible from the pole to the house. So
Okay.
that's a variable. Other than that, there's just a couple minor things. Oh, the electrical system. The original breaker box is in the utility room where the washer and dryer are. And when they added onto the home and they moved the main panel out to the garage, the panel inside the house became what's called a sub panel. And that sub panel is now not grounded properly. In a breaker box, the grounds and the neutrals are combined together in a main breaker box, but in a sub panel application, the grounds and neutrals have to be separated, so they're on separate power buses. And when they moved the service to the garage, they didn't do that, so there's some rewiring that needs to be done in the breaker box in the laundry room to correct that, so that everything works as safely as it should. Other than that, I can't attest to the fish, but there's lots of ducks and geese here. Looks good. Go through my report. You'll get a report from me tomorrow. I've taken 150 pictures. When I sit down and put together the report, I'll illustrate everything that can be illustrated in a picture. Go through it carefully. Feel free to call me, and if you have any questions, I'll send the same report to Eric so he's got the same info. Then also tomorrow you'll get an email from a company called Recall Check, and watch for that in case it gets dumped in your spam folder. It'll list all the appliances from the boiler down to the garbage disposal and tell you if any of them have ever been recalled for safety issues, and if so, how to contact the manufacturer and get them repaired or replaced.